My name is Nattapat. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
My name is Metarwee. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participate.
My name is Nuchana. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
My name is Suttida. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
My name is Ruchikan. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that his work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participate.
The Gingerbread Man. One day, the cook went into the kitchen to make some gingerbread. She took some flour and water and treacle and ginger, and mixed them all well together. And she put in some more water to make it thin, and then some more flour to make it thick, and a little salt and some spice, and then she rolled it out into a beautiful, smooth, dark yellow dough. Then she took the square tins and cut out some square cakes for the little boys, and with some round tins she cut out some round cakes for the little girls, and then she said, "I'm going to make a little gingerbread man for little Bobby." So she took a nice round lump of dough for his body, and a smaller lump for his head, which she pulled out in a little for the neck. Two other lumps were stuck on beneath for the legs, and were pulled out into proper shape, with feet and toes all complete, and two still smaller pieces were made into arms, with dear little hands and fingers. But the nicest work was done on the head, for the top was frizzed up into a pretty sugary hat. On either side was made a dear little ear, and in front, after the nose had been carefully molded, a beautiful mouth was made out of a big raisin, and two bright little eyes, with brown almonds and cowberry seed. Then the gingerbread man was finished ready for baking, and a very jolly little man he was. In fact, he looked so sly that the cook was afraid he was plotting some mischief, and when the batter was ready for the oven, she put in the square case, and she put in the round case, and then she put in the little gingerbread man in a far back corner, where he couldn't get away in a hurry. Then she went up to sweep the parlour, and she swept till the clock struck 12, when she dropped her broom in a hurry, and exclaiming, "Look, the gingerbread man will be all baked to a cinder," she ran down into the kitchen and threw open the oven door.
And the square cakes were done, nice and hard and brown, and the round cakes were done, nice and hard and brown, and the gingerbread man was done too, nice and hard and brown, and he was standing up in his corner, with his little curious seat eyes sparkling, and his legs more bubbling over mischief, while he waited for the oven door to be opened. The instant the door was opened, with a hop, skip, and a jump, He will lie over the square cakes and the loud cakes, and over the cook's arm. And before she could say, Jack Robinson, he was learning across the kitchen floor, as fast as his little word carried him, towards the back door, which was standing wide open, and through which he could see the garden path. Run, run, fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. The old cook turned loud as she could, which wasn't very fast, for she was later a heavy woman and she had been quite taken by surprise. And she saw running right across the doorway, fast asleep in the sun, old Mother the cat. Mouser, Mouser, she called her. Stop the gingerbread man, I want him for little Bobby. When the cook first called her, Mouser thought it was only someone calling in her dreams, and simply rolled over lazily, and the cook called again, Mouser, Mouser. The old cat sprang up with a jump, but just as she turned round to ask the cook what the noise was about, the little gingerbread man carefully jumped under her tail, and in an instant was floating down the garden walk. Mouser turned in a hurry and ran after, although she was still late to sleep to know what it was she was trying to catch. And after the cat came to cook, lumbering along rather heavily, but also making pretty good speed. Now at the bottom of the walk, running fast asleep in the sun against the warm stone on the garden wall, was Towser the dog. And the cock called out, Towser, Towser, stop the gingerbread man, I want him for little Bobby.
And when Towser first heard her calling, he thought it was someone speaking in his dreams, and he only turned over on his side with another snore, and then the cook called again, Towser, Towser, stop him, stop him. Then the dog woke up in good earnest, and jumped up on his feet to see what it was that he should stop. But just as the dog jumped up, the little gingerbread man, who has been watching for the chance, quietly slipped between his legs and climbed up on the top of the stone wall, so that Towser saw nothing but the cat running towards him down the walk, and behind the cat the cook, now quite out of breath. Run, run, fast as you can. You can't catch me and the gingerbread man. He thought at once that the cat must have stolen something, and that it was the cat the cook wanted him to stop. Now, if there was anything that Towser liked, it was going after the cat, and he jumped up the walk so fiercely that the poor cat did not have time to stop herself or to get out of his way, and they came together with a great fizzing and barking and meowing and howling and scratching and biting, as if a couple of Catherine wheels has gone off in the wrong way and had got mixed up with one another. But the old cook has been running so hard that she was not able to stop herself, and better than the cat had done, and she fell right on top of the mixed up dog and cat, so that all three rolled over on the walk in a heap together, and the cat scratched whichever came nearest, whether it was a piece of the dog or of the cook, and the dog bit at whatever came nearest, whether it was a piece of the cat or of the cook, so that the poor cook was badly pummeled on both sides. Meanwhile, the gingerbread man has climbed up on the garden wall and stood on the top with his hands in his pockets, looking at the schemate and laughing till the tears ran down from his little caraway-seed eyes, and his lazy mouth was bubbling all over with fun.
Run, run! Father, you can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. After a little while, the cat miniature pulled herself out from under the cook and the dog, and a very cast down and crumpled up looking cat she was. She had had enough of hunting gingerbread men, and she crept back to the kitchen to repair the magic. The dog, who was very cross because his thread had been badly scratched, let go of the cook and at last, catching sight of the gingerbread man, made a break for the garden wall. The cook picked herself up, and although her face was also badly scratched, and her dress was torn, she was determined to see the end of the shed, and she followed after the dog, though this time more slowly. When the gingerbread man saw the dog coming, she jumped down on the farther side of the wall and began running across the field. Now in the middle of the field was a tree, and at the foot of the tree was lying Jocko. The monkey, he was asleep. Monkey never armed, and when he saw the little man running across the field and heard the cook calling, Jocko, Jocko, stop, the gingerbread man, he at once gave one big jump, but he jumped so fast and so far that he went right over the gingerbread man, and as luck would have it, he came down on the back of Towser, the dog, who had just scrambled over the wall, and whom he had not before noticed. Towser was naturally taken by surprise, but he turned his head around and promptly bit off the end of the monkey tail, and Jocko quickly jumped off again, shattering his indignation. Meanwhile, the gingerbread man had got to the bottom of the tree and was saying to himself, now I know the dog can't climb a tree, and I don't believe the old cook can climb a tree. And as for the monkey, I'm not sure, for I've never seen a monkey before, but I am going up. So he pulled himself up hand over hand until he had got to the topmost branch. Climb, climb, Father, you can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man.
But the monkey had jumped with one spring onto the lowest bunch, and in an instant he also was at off the top of the tree. The gingerbread man crawled out to the farthermost end of the bunch and hung by one hand, but the monkey swung himself under the bunch and stretching out his long arm, he pulled the gingerbread man in. Then he held him up and looked at him so hungrily that the little licensed mouth began to pucker down at the corners, and the caraway-seed eyes filled with tears. And then, what do you think happened? While little Bobby himself came running up, he had been taking his noonday nap upstairs, and in his dream, it seemed as if he kept hearing people call, Little Bobby, Little Bobby, until finally he jumped up with a start and was so sure that someone was calling him that he run downstairs without even waiting to put on his shoes. As he came down, he could see through the window in the field beyond, the garden to cook, and the dog, and the monkey, and could even hear the blacking of trousers and the chattering of jacker. He scampered down the walk with his little bare feet paddling again. The warm gravel from over the wall, and in a few seconds, alive under the tree, just as Jacker was holding up the poor little gingerbread man. "Drop it, Jacker!" cried Bobby. And drop it Jacker did, for he always had to mind Bobby. He dropped it so steady that the gingerbread man fell right into Bobby, alive in the fall. Then Bobby held him up and looked at him, and the little license mouth puckered down lower than ever, and the tears ran right out of the Calavese's eyes. But Bobby was too hungry to mind gingerbread tears, and he gave one big bite and swallowed up down both legs and a part of the body. Bobby gave a second bite and swallowed the lies of the body and the arm. "Oh," said the gingerbread man, "I'm too gone." Bobby gave a third bite and coughed down the head. "Oh," said the gingerbread man, "I'm all gone." And so he was, and that is the end of the story.